is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
It's signing day across the football landscape, particularly here at the University of Oregon. That's a good day. University of Oregon football has routinely been one of the most successful programs on early signing day. And admittedly, that's even predating the Dan Lanning era. But it has certainly taken a step up in the Dan Lanning era. The entire new flock of Ducks are rolling in. A reminder that on this program, I really like my job. That means that if there are, for example, reports of a commitment, I will not talk about them on the show until the national letter of intent has been sent in, signed, and the University of Oregon Compliance Office says, we can talk about it. Which means that you should be checking GoDucks.com today. Front page of GoDucks.com, the signing day special. Keep track of all of the new recruits here on National Signing Day. It is early signing day, though. What does that mean? Well, there's still 2 signing periods for football. One here in December, which actually begins today. And I know that's always a common misconception. The early signing period begins today, continues through Friday. Then there's the final signing period that begins on the first Wednesday in February. More details on the completion of the Oregon football class, of course, coming up then in February. So if you go to GoDucks.com, you'll see the front page, NSD 26. You'll see all of the players that will be joining the Ducks. And you'll also see some information on the National Signing Day celebration. You can buy tickets for the event in Portland at the Nike World headquarters, which has become one of the most marquee events on the Oregon football calendar. The entire coaching staff goes up and discusses the new recruits. And, I know a lot of people have asked me, why not do this today? Because almost the entire class, or in some cases the entire class, is finalized today. Well, the truth is, that would be shortchanging any new additions that may come to the roster in these later signing periods. You can buy tickets, though, for that event. There's also an online auction. Oregon's virtual signing day auction will once again feature Duck memorabilia, unique experiences. One of them, actually, was to enjoy a broadcast in the broadcast booth with us at an Oregon football game. We had a lot of fun with the folks that came up and did that this year. Dates for the auction will be announced later on, but you can join the NSD mailing list via GoDucks.com today. And a reminder that the 2026 Oregon football ticket information is out there. GoDucks.com has you covered. We'll talk more about signing day, unveiling the class, getting into everything that this class brings to the table. But also, I know as the Ducks sit here and this current roster sits here today, new college football playoff rankings last night. The Oregon football team is number 5 in the penultimate college football playoff rankings yesterday evening. They moved up 1 spot for the 4th straight week after finishing 11-1 in the regular season. Ducks capped the regular season with a 26-14 win at Washington. Oregon now has 2 wins over teams in the latest CFP Top 25 with victories over number 16 USC and number 23 Iowa. Big Ten has 3 top 5 teams and 6 schools in the top 25. Number 1 Ohio State, number 2 Indiana, number 5 Oregon, the top 3 in the Big Ten. The Ducks await their final CFP seeding when the field is announced on Sunday. It'll be Sunday morning. No game this week. Ducks will host a first-round CFP game at Autzen Stadium unless Oregon moves into the top 4 Then the Ducks would receive a first-round bye, just like last year. UO is one of only 3 teams, the others being Indiana, number 2 team, and Texas Tech, the number 4 team, that are top 15 in the nation in scoring offense. The Ducks are 9th at 38.2 points per game. Total offense, 13th at 465.2 yards per game. Scoring defense, the Ducks are 8th at 14.8 points per game. And total defense, the Ducks are 3rd at 251.6 yards per game. Ducks are also one of just 2 teams, the other being Indiana, in the top 10 for total yards per play and total yards per play allowed. The point that I'm trying to make here is that Oregon is an exceptionally balanced team, and the only loss on Oregon's schedule is to the number 2 team in the country, who may very well be the number 1 team in the country after the results this weekend. Ducks also own the nation's number 3 ranked passing defense now, while ranking 14th in rushing offense. A very well-rounded team. Currently number 4 in both the Associated Press poll and the coaches poll. The rest of that top 25. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, Georgia playing in the SEC Championship is 3, Texas Tech playing in the Big 12 Championship is 4, then it's the Ducks, Ole Miss at 6, Texas A&M at 7, Oklahoma at 8, Alabama 9, Notre Dame 10. BYU also playing in a championship game this week in the Big 12. They're number 11. Miami 12, Texas 13, 14 Vanderbilt, 15 Utah, 16 USC, 17 Virginia, 18 Arizona, 19 Michigan, 20 Tulane, 21 Houston, 22 Georgia Tech, 23 Iowa, 24 North Texas, and then number 25 is James Madison. So why does all that matter when the rankings are all going to be revised after championship weekend? Well, here's what the bracket would look like if the playoffs started today. It would be Ohio State at number 1. Indiana would be number 2 with a bye. Georgia, assuming that Georgia wins the championship game against Alabama, would be at number 3. Texas Tech would then be at number 4, assuming Texas Tech gets a win over a pretty good BYU team that I think has a little shot in the arm right now if you follow all the same news that I do. But those are some intriguing matchups. BYU and Texas Tech play at 9 a.m. on ABC. 1 o'clock on ABC, Georgia plays Alabama. 5 o'clock on Fox, all on Saturday. Indiana plays Ohio State. And then also, you'll want to keep an eye on the ACC championship game between Duke and Virginia. Here's why. Because the Ducks are the number 5 team. If the playoffs started today, this would be the bracket. Oklahoma and Alabama would be in the 8-9 game. The winner of that game would play Ohio State. The Ducks would play the 12 seed. It would be the 5th highest ranked conference champion. Now, it could be from the ACC. Could be Virginia. Or it could end up being North Texas? Perhaps James Madison? Now you're scratching your head and you're going, wait, Joey, what about the ACC? Well, hear me out. North Texas and Tulane are 24 and 20 in the rankings respectively. That game is played Friday night, the American Championship. 11-1 North Texas, number 24 in the country, against number 20 Tulane, 10-2 in the country. 20 in the country, 10-2 in the American Conference. Okay. Well, what about James Madison? The Sun Belt Championship. They're facing Troy at 4 o'clock on ESPN on Friday. Number 25, James Madison at 11-1. Huh. And then Duke, unranked Duke, is in the ACC Championship game. Virginia's number 17 in the rankings at 10-2. So I'm just throwing this out there that if Duke wins, if the Ducks stay as the 5 seed, if Duke wins, you might see the highest ranked conference champions coming out of the American, the Sun Belt, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12. The ACC might not have one in there. This is why the 12-team playoff leads to such chaos. But I'm just telling you, Duck fans, on Friday, I will be watching the Troy-James Madison game at 4 o'clock, and I will be watching the North Texas-Tulane game at 5 o'clock. Because those games may very well determine who are the number 4 and number 5 ranked conference champions. Now, if Virginia takes care of business, then Virginia is going to be in the field. because they're already 10-2 and ranked at number 17. I know that it gets a little bit confusing. I know that everything starts to feel like, wait, what could happen? Well, here's what we know is going to happen. Oregon is in line to host a CFP game on either December 19th or December 20th. And then depending on what the movement is, maybe BYU beats Texas Tech, Alabama beats Georgia, and the committee says, you know what, Oregon is one of the best 4 teams after those results. We'll see. That's for a lot of very smart people who have a very hard job to figure out. Either way, the Ducks are in the CFP. We know that after these penultimate rankings. Continuing with this year's Oregon football team. 12 members of the Ducks squad received recognition from the Big Ten today as the conference released the first wave of all Big Ten honorees, defense and special teams, announced today. Dylan Thieneman led the way in all Big Ten first-team selection by both the league's coaches and the media. He is the first Oregon defensive back since Kyrie Jackson in 2023 to earn first-team all-conference honors. Inside linebacker Bryce Betcher and defensive lineman Bear Alexander were selected to the All-Big Ten second team by both the coaches and the media. And defensive back Brandon Finney Jr., long snapper Luke Basso landed on the coaches' second team. Finney also earned third-team honors from the media. Outside linebacker Tatum Tuioti and defensive lineman Amari Washington were voted to the third team by both the coaches and the media as well. 6 Ducks received honorable mention recognition from the Big Ten. Luke Basso to the media, from the media I should say. Returner Gary Bryant Jr. on the media squad. Defensive back Jaden Kennedy by both the coaches and the media. Defensive back Aaron Flowers was honored by the media. Atticus Sappington by both the coaches and the media. And outside linebacker Mateo Uyungale by both the coaches and the media. I know that was a lot. The point is that 12 Ducks received recognition from the Big Ten Conference here this week. And there's going to be more when the conference announces the offensive honors coming up here, I believe, tomorrow. Tell you what, when you have a good program, certainly your players are going to be honored. Also, your coaches are going to be honored and sought after. For the second consecutive season, Oregon defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoy was announced on Tuesday afternoon as one of 15 semifinalists for the Broyles Award. That's presented annually to college football's top assistant coach. He's coordinated one of the best defenses in the country over the last few years, a defense that has consistently gotten better under Tosh Lupoy and, of course, Dan Lanning's leadership. This year, the least amount of points given up by an Oregon defense since 1966. Oregon has now had a semifinalist or better for the Broyles Award 6 times in program history and has had one each of the last 4 seasons under head coach Dan Lanning. Congratulations to Tosh Lupoy. Well deserved. Meanwhile, for the Oregon football signing class, I can tell you that names are rolling in, and I have a feeling that there will be some additions throughout, I don't know, the next some allotment of time. I can put it that way, right? Is that going to get a compliance email? No, I think you're good. Okay. When we return, more on signing day, more on this Oregon football team. It's women's basketball game day. Oregon State's in town. We've got a broadcast preview coming your way tonight. Also, men's basketball last night. We'll unpack where the Ducks are at. But first, Dusty Harrah is with us next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota-thon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hi, Jan from Toyota with a holiday message. Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon, Toyota-thon is on.
Dealer inventory may vary. Toyota-thon ends January 5th. See your participating dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Anytime we get the opportunity to talk with one Dusty Harrah, who is here with us. God, I'll tell you what. Every time you're with us, I just get fired up. Even when you're not here in person, I just sit here and I go, he fills up the TV screen for us, and that's nice.
I wish I was. Oh wait, I wish I was sitting right here.
That was
in
good.
This chair right here.
That was good.
I went the wrong
backwards.
way. I'm not a weatherman. The weathermen, they know which way to point when they're on the screen. I wish I was in that chair, but I'm here. And look, Rob Mullins said it best yesterday when he said the welcome to this show, it makes you want to come back. You know, I'm here for it.
Look, we try.
I'm here for it.
We try. Look, Ohana.
Ooh, it means family.
It means family.
It means family.
Look, we still have the poster. I have not framed it yet, but it's a good one this year.
It's a great one.
That's a
good look.
It's a good one. Dusty Harrah joining us all the way from Portland. Didn't have to make the drive this week. Ducks are going through a dead week academically here at the University of Oregon, and then finals week next week. Dusty, what was the hardest final you ever took?
Oh boy, that's a really tough question. I will say it was probably a history final. It had to have been a history final.
A history final.
I had an 8 a.m. history class, and that was brutal for me to wake up for. But the final was even more.
Didn't you host a morning show?
Yeah, I did, but this was in college. Like that's not that those things aren't the same. And it wasn't like today where they practice in the mornings now. I was a 10 a.m. or later class guy. Like I wasn't the early riser back then.
Yeah, but you didn't fail the final, did you?
No, I didn't.
See?
No, I didn't.
Good work.
There you go.
Good work, Dusty Harrah. Okay, if I asked you, or if I told you, I should say, at the beginning of the season, hey, Dusty, we're standing at practice. Ducks are going to go 11-1 this year. They're going to be at 5 in the penultimate college football playoff rankings. Your reaction would have been what?
It's a great season. I mean, any time that you are in 11-1 when thinking about the world of college football right now, it is crazy to think there is only 2 undefeated teams in all of college football, and they are both in the Big Ten, and it's Ohio State and Indiana. Like that is bonkers, and how hard it is to go through a regular season unblemished. And just look at how many one-loss teams there are. I think people get caught up so often in that, hey, well, I mean, Ducks went 13-0 last year before, falling to Ohio State in the Rose Bowl in the quarterfinals of the playoffs. Yeah, that's really stinking hard to do.
Right.
And 11-1 is a phenomenal year by any measure, and being 5th in the country, especially with everything that the Ducks had to replace and the unknown of the most important position in sports being the quarterback, and Dante Moore coming back as after sitting a year behind Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, there were some questions, but they were answered in a hurry with this team, and to finish 11-1. It's a great feat, great season so far.
And we're looking at this year's team, and it's signing day today, also looking ahead. So, Dusty, let me just say, as I said at the beginning of the show, with a lot of our audience today, they're wondering, hey, well, what about all these names? What about this guy? What about this guy? What about this guy? And I will just tell all of you just one more time that Dusty and I both like our jobs. And until that letter of intent is here in the compliance office, that's why maybe you don't see some names coming across on GoDucks.com and on this program. So, qualifying what I'm about to say, Dusty, I think the recruiting class is pretty good.
Yeah, I think the recruiting class is really good. I mean, I don't know. And who knows? I never know what to expect because – like last year's recruiting class was really good. It was great. It was historic for the University of Oregon. I did not think in a million years, Brandon Finney Jr., Jordan Davis, and De'Ara Hill, those guys would be the players that they are coming right out of high school.
Interesting.
There's so many unknowns because, I mean, usually it takes time to develop. And that's why the reactions to recruiting classes, yeah, it is great to be excited about the caliber of player that's coming in, but not every single player develops at the same rate. And some guys, it takes a little bit more time. Other guys, we're seeing 3 of them this year that they have the ability to come out and play from day one and be impact players. And we don't know which players that will be. Sure, we can have an idea based on how many stars they're given in high school, but there's also been a lot of guys that have come through the University of Oregon program that have not had a lot of stars next to their name. One of them won a Heisman Trophy.
Yep.
Another one in LaMichael James is a college football Hall of Famer, right? Those guys weren't the guys that were the 5-star prospects. A lot of the players that come up and develop and grow into the household names, Bryce Betcher, for goodness sakes, is one of these guys where you don't know what they're going to become when they come into their body. They have nutrition, weight room, and then expand their knowledge of the game. Like you just really don't know, but it's really good to have a great recruiting class, and Oregon has one put together, man.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, here's what I like without going too nitty-gritty, and I want to remind everyone that the class as we are on the air here right now is not complete simply because this is the beginning of signing day. This is a signing period for 3 days. Then there's another signing period in February. So the full breakdown and rankings and all these things that people care about, we'll know a lot more in February. And here's the other piece to it. We all know that now the transfer class rankings sure make a big difference. And, that's something, Dusty, that I think I'm reminded of here today on signing day. You alluded to guys that are impact players immediately as freshmen. Well, how about a guy like Jaden Kennedy, who just got recognized by the Big Ten today, coaches and media both? A guy like Dylan Thieneman, who comes in and is a first-team All-Big Ten player for Oregon. You have to build a roster in multiple ways, and I think that's been a real strength of Dan Lanning, of this entire staff. They seem to have a great balance of building through a freshman recruiting class, junior college transfers, and Division I transfers.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just do it one way or the other anymore in this world of college football. You have to have the ability to recruit the high school players and then say, all right, what are our immediate needs? And there's more knowns that are out there that we can put in and we can plug and play them right away. And I think that evaluation of talent is a special trait. And because you can take a guy who is uber successful in one place and he's not going to be as successful because of the scheme, the fit, and the people that are around him. But what I think Dan Lanning, his staff, and what they're able to do is their evaluation of talent and how they fit a specific role on a team that will maximize the guys that are around them as well. That is truly something that is special. And look, they've been doing it through the portal and the recruiting trail, the traditional way through high school, to an incredible degree. That's how you go 13-1. That's how you go 11-1 in seasons, is that evaluation of how they fit what you're trying to do and the pieces that are around them as well.
I'm Joey Mack. He's Dusty Harrah, talking a lot of football and zeroing in too on, you talk about success and how that can breed more success. Congratulations are in order to Will Stein, officially named the head coach at Kentucky. I know he grew up a Kentucky fan. That's a little bit of a homecoming for Will Stein. The fact is that he's coordinated a very successful offense, and the two offensive coordinators under Dan Lanning, Kenny Dillingham, now a head coach at the Power 4 level at Arizona State, was in the playoff last year. Now Will Stein going to the SEC, a Power 4 job. That's what has happened here, and I say this also knowing, with context, on signing day, hey, things are still happening at the University of Oregon, right? There's a whole holistic picture that leads to the success the Ducks are enjoying. But congratulations are also in order for Will Stein.
Man, that's awesome for him. And it's awesome that, the coaches that Coach Lanning says often, like, I want guys on my staff that want to become head coaches, that want to grow themselves and take over and be leaders of their own programs, and genuinely being happy when they do have that. And I think that, the way that Dan Lanning came up in the coaching ranks and the people that he learned from, they kind of fostered that. And then you get to your own program, you can sit there and say it, but you got to be about it as well. And it's not just a genuine happiness for Will Stein or Kenny Dillingham to get those head coaching jobs, but also knowing and trusting yourself that you're going to hire the next person that is going to be in line. And that's always the part that is concerning to fans. But just look at the hires that Coach Lanning has made when they have had departures on this staff. He's knocked it out of the park, and I mean, I think that his ability to find the coaches on the staff that, one, are very football smart, two, can connect with their players, because connection is one of the biggest things that, is a foundational piece of the Oregon football program. But the third part of it, and this was where, like, it was that connection with Will Stein was immediate, is you got to connect with the entire coaching staff. And we heard when, Coach Lanning hired Will Stein, the story of they hopped on the phone. It was supposed to be a short call, and they ended up talking for hours, and it just flew by. That is the third piece, and that's such a big piece, is, fitting into the fabric of the coaching staff as well. And there's a lot of schemes that work in college football. We know that. I mean, you can see it across the country, different schemes work, but there is a special sauce to the staff that you have, in that them being on the same page just as much as the play caller is with the quarterback or the situation in the game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, we can cover a lot with National Signing Day, where this team is. We'll break down a lot more with Dusty next week, but I do just want to get your reaction, Dusty, to all the potential scenarios that the weekend could potentially bring. The Ducks are sitting at number 5. I ran through it. It's likely the Group 5 champ if the Ducks stay at 5. I do think there's a scenario where the Ducks move up, and at the end of the day, it's a good thing that we're having this conversation.
It is. I mean, like, I thought you were going to ask me what I thought happened, and my answer is I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen, because this is going to be a wild week in Conference Championship week, and the College Football Playoff Committee has got their hands full, man. They've got a really difficult job, and I know that there's some fan bases that are upset and some that aren't. The reality of it is this Oregon team afforded themselves the ability just to sit back and watch the chaos happen around them and still be comfortable with where they are going to be in a playoff spot, whether that is hosting a playoff game or look, getting another bye in the first round is not completely out of the question. Like, it's going to be a wild week. But being at 5th, I mean, I know for a lot of people, it felt like the world was falling after the Indiana loss. They took care of their business down that final stretch, and they afforded no opportunities for the playoff committee to move them down. They just kept moving up as the rest of the regular season went on, and it's a great spot to be, man.
Yeah, it is. Dusty Harrah joining us. He'll be running around on the sideline somewhere coming up here this month. Sideline reporter checking in all the way from Portland, our friends at 105.1 The Fan, the entire
or maybe
sports
next
network.
Month.
Maybe.
We don't know. Could be next month.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know when it'll be.
Happy National Signing Day, buddy.
You too.
Dusty Harrah. Dusty. Oh, the subtext and side conversations that maybe 1% of our audience will get as we laugh during this moment are just priceless. Thanks, Dusty.
Appreciate you.
Time out. Back after this. We're going to talk more football on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket in the dark, wondering if that sound in the hall was actually a footstep, the real danger is in your hand, when you're behind the wheel. And while you might think a great white shark is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. It is National Signing Day. Oregon football number 5 in the second to last college football playoff rankings. We'll find out the selection on Sunday, so be sure to tune in Monday when we break it all down. Look, I know there's so much debate about where things are going, and I even see in the comment section from you all today, thanks for being with us as always, that it's like, wait, what about this guy? What's signing tomorrow? What does all this mean? And here's what I want to say about all the different speculation. One, it's great to be in these conversations. The fact that the Ducks are in these conversations, doesn't that just say everything that you want to know? Everything that you want to know. So as we stand here today in the 1 o'clock hour, the Duck class that's on GoDucks.com, pretty exciting stuff. And, you know, again, it's a window. You don't sign today, you could sign tomorrow, you could sign Friday. All of these student athletes have worked so hard to get to this juncture of their career. And I've even seen the why do the hat thing? Why go on TV or do a podcast or whatever? Because they worked their butts off to have this opportunity to say, hey, this is where I'm going. This is my time in the sun. Like, I got to be honest, I have no problem with that. In fact, I love it. I love that we've gotten to the point where we can celebrate all of these great players, in not just football, in all sports, that get this opportunity and get to this moment. I think that's awesome. And that's what it should all be about. That's what it should all be about. So as the signing class continues to roll in, Dan Lanning, by the way, the Duck head coach, will meet with the media today, this afternoon. You're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. He will meet with the media today. And then the class, again, won't be fully complete until that second signing period in February. And just this broadcaster's opinion, I do hope that there's some revision to the calendar and the timeline of things around college football. It's been a huge topic around college athletics among coaches getting asked about it with early signing days and with coaches and the coaching carousel and player movement and all of the things. And I come back to what Dan Lanning said before this subject even got to be a big deal this week in particular. He was on the Coaches Show with us. We do our Oregon Football Coaches Show during the regular season every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock across the Oregon Football channels and the Oregon Sports Network. But here's what he said. He goes, well, I think that you got to have the national championship be lined up with the academic calendar. It should be around January 1st, and then that solves a lot of the problems. And it was amazing to hear now all of these different coaches across the country this week talk about that, with the carousel, with player movement, whatever it might be. And Dan Lanning said that like 2 months ago, sitting in that chair over here to my left on the Coaches Show. He was like, well, that's what I would do, and that's the way to fix it. And I was sitting here. Well, I was actually sitting over here. I was sitting over here. And I looked at him, and I was just like nodding vigorously. Like, yes. I hope that we do get to that point, because the early signing period, I like it for student athletes. It allows student athletes to get on campus earlier in some cases. It also takes the pressure off of some student athletes to just enjoy being a senior in high school. What a concept. This is just this broadcaster's opinion. And I saw a question about the coordinators for the Ducks. Congratulations again to Will Stein. I see all the same reports that you all do, and I can tell you that Rob Mullins said, the Oregon athletic director, yesterday on the show that Will Stein will be staying with the Ducks through the playoff. Dan Lanning was afforded the option when he was the defensive coordinator at Georgia to go win a national championship as a coordinator while he was also working as the head coach for the Ducks. I love that Coach Lanning is now allowing Will Stein to do that at Kentucky. Great stuff. All right, timeout. We're going to come back. It's women's basketball game day. Ducks and Beavers tonight at Matthew Knight Arena. Full preview and more football talk on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My name is Ariel. I moved to the U.S. at 19. I spoke no English and I struggled finding job opportunities. Everything I have, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and getting my high school diploma at age 22.
It was an honor helping you achieve your greatness. Now you're helping others achieve theirs. It inspires me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Find free and supportive adult education centers near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Tonight at Matthew Knight Arena, Oregon women's basketball rivalry renewed against the Beavers. That's right, 6 o'clock tonight, 5:30 pregame show with Chris Clayton and Bev Smith. It's on Big Plus as well. It's also going to be on Sirius XM Radio tonight. Yeah, XM channel 382 if you're tuned in across the country on satellite radio. 5:30 pregame show with Chris and Bev, Ducks and Beavs, as Oregon women's basketball looks to stay undefeated. Kelly Graves gives us a preview of the rivalry matchup tonight.
We actually had a great Thanksgiving dinner, by the way, the night before the game. Played on Thanksgiving Day, and then I think we had a few parents, so a lot of our players just went out with them that day. But, yeah, it was a really good trip, a long trip. I think it was a full 7 days, and, yeah, it's just a lot of hotel time. But a really good trip. Obviously, we went 3-0 and played pretty good at times, but just good to be back home. It really is.
Can you put into perspective this maybe the second half for Katie and how special that was in terms of the young player kind of ascending in a moment where she needed to help get a win?
Yeah, one of the more memorable performances, especially when we needed it. I mean, when we fell down by 14 and we had given no indication that we could turn it around. You know, we were just like running in quicksand and things weren't going well. You couldn't make a basket. And yeah, she just kind of put us on her shoulders and well, her and Ahis, but yeah, Katie was just spectacular. And, you know, her assist numbers were down because she was looking to score. We needed her to score and she understood that. So yeah, that was a heck of a half.
I guess what can that mean for her confidence going forward in these other big games? I mean, with what's on the horizon, especially.
Yeah. You know, I had a talk with them today. You know, this December schedule and then the January, February, March schedule. I mean, we don't, there are no more gimmies, you know, the rest of the time. And so, yeah, you know, it gets real. We're going to have more close games. And so when the more confident she is, then the better we are for it. So, and, you know, she's 9 games into her sophomore year. Her freshman year was kind of a throwaway in some ways. She's still a young player getting better. And that's what's really encouraging to see, that she can take over a game when she needs to.
What about, you talked a little bit about Ahis, but just what she was able to do in that game with I think 15 rebounds. And I think her rebound percentage is like 26% right now.
Yeah, she was incredible. I think it was Chris Brown. Do you know Chris Brown, who put out there Ahis the Beast? That was pretty darn clever, and she was in that game. Yeah, spectacular. Got every rebound. You know, she's hurt. She probably will not play tomorrow, so didn't practice today. But she finished the game. You know, they thought maybe she had broken her foot. We're still not sure, but just to show you how tough she is, you know, she was able to go back in and just play down the stretch, and we needed every possession from her. But yeah, 2 sophomores made a huge impact.
Do you have an indication of when you'll know the severity on that one?
Yeah, you just, you know, anymore there's x-rays and then there's MRIs and there's all these different levels. It's not as easy as you'd think. And she's kind of tough, you know, and didn't let on that it's worse than she let on. And so it probably cost us a day in terms of finding out what it really was.
Kelly, you've always had a handful of international players on your rosters here at Oregon, but I'm curious how kind of your scouting of that has evolved maybe over the last 10 years or so. And does that bring kind of like a different feel when everyone's just kind of getting used to each other and the different types of ball they've played?
Yeah, you know, and they've all come here for different reasons, you know, and through different sources, you know. One of my good friends, he's a longtime German coach, was the one that told me about Ahis. You know, just said, hey, there's a player in Luxembourg, and not many players from Luxembourg are on the national or international scene, just because they rarely get out of the European B division. And he sent me some clips, and I go, wow, I think she's really worth looking at. And then we watched her more and more. He helped us with Satu and Niara as well, so he's a pretty good source over there. But it just comes from different ways. You know, my staff does an awesome job of making contacts with people. There are international services. So anymore, it used to be you'd have to have an in with European coaches and programs and teams. Anymore, there's now, because you can make a buck. So there's all these different scouting services that are now scouting international players. That's why you're seeing more and more of the international players going to the elite programs. It used to be they would come over. They had no idea that Oregon was any different than Sacramento State. To them it was America, right? They're becoming a little more sophisticated. So the recruiting is more sophisticated now. But we have good contacts over there. We have a good name, and we've had, quite frankly, some great international players that have succeeded here. So that helps the next group. We were able to get good Spanish guards because Maite Cazorla had such a great career here, and she still, talks fondly of our program to other Spanish kids, and it just, word of mouth a lot of times. Yeah, good question. But I like European players, quite frankly. They know how to play. In America, they say, "Oh, you're 6'2". All right, you're inside. Get your back to the basket." Out there, that's why you see Jokic and Giannis and those kind of players. They're skilled like guards. That's the way they play the game. And now the NBA plays it the way they used to play it.
Coming down from 14 against Auburn, what does that sort of prove to the team?
That we've got some toughness. Yeah, we showed some real character. We didn't get down. We kept battling, and then we made that nice little run. We stuck to our defensive game plan, and it started to pay off. Our zone in these last 3 games was by far our best defense, and we did an amazing job and stuck with the zone pretty much the entire trip, and it did well for us. We're rebounding well out of it and created some turnovers and made the right plays at the right time. But I think anytime you can win close games or come from behind, there's a belief that happens. I think last year we were 6-0 in games decided by 1 or 2 points. Well, we get into a close game, they start to believe that, hey, we're gonna win this game. So yeah, that's invaluable to have.
You were talking about your returners, especially with Katie, but also with Sarah, Sophia, and Amina. I mean, just what's been the biggest difference from last year and kind of having that year under the belt to this year?
Yeah, well, I think experience. There's no substitute for having been there, having done it. Great thing is, you guys, in our 9 games now, we've had 6 different leading scorers, and so we're getting production all across the lineup. I thought Amina had a great trip. She was really solid at both ends of the floor. We already talked about Ihis. Ari, Sophia. We keep disruptions. Sophia had 30 disruptions in 3 games. 7 in a game is tremendous, and she averaged 10. So they're getting it done in different ways that you may not see it in the scorebook, but I love the production we're getting up and down the lineup, and yes, experience plays a big part of that.
Oregon State, one, how much does this game and series mean to you, having coached in it for so long, and also what problems do the Beavers present?
Well, I'm glad that we're playing a game. We couldn't work it out last year. Both sides tried, and we just couldn't get it done. And so I'm glad we're playing again. They're very good. I mean, I think Scott is one of the best coaches in the country. Always have, and he's got a really good team again. What they do is they know who they are, and they play their style. They're not going to change it, and it's really effective. I think both of us would probably rethink the timing of this, because we had the trips down to the south. He went further south into the Caribbean, and we both came home on Monday. Long travel days. Monday? What's today? Yeah, see, that's what happened. So we both traveled on Sunday. We had long travel days. Under the rules, we had to take the day off yesterday. I'm sure they did the same thing. So we've only had 1 day to prepare for them. It's impossible to do. They run 100 sets. They run them well. So when you play Oregon State, you really rely, we have players that can't run the same out of bounds play that we've been running since day 1 in practice, and they'll screw that up. And so we have 1 day to show them 100 different options that they have in their offense. So it makes it really difficult. So we have to, I guess, count on our defensive principles, right? So neither of us have had a lot of time to prepare, but we're both kind of in the same boat. But I think they're really good. I mean, Kennedy Schuler is a heck of a player. She's a tremendous point guard. We have a really good one too, but they're different. She is. There's no question she's the director of what they're running out there. They've got great size. They've got a bunch of shooters. They have a young lady named Bolden who's local and went to a junior college, and then I think she transferred somewhere else before she came to OSU. Having a great year, shooting the ball well. She's athletic. She can attack. And then Villa's playing really well. I think she's averaging 17 or 18 points over the last 4 or 5 games. So she's starting to get the hang of it as a transfer. So it's going to be a heck of a game. 2 really good teams, and I think our fan bases deserve to have us playing. Glad we worked it out.
What does this 9-0 start mean to you? This is something this program hasn't done in 10 years. It kind of sets you up for something here. What does it mean to you to have a start like this?
Yeah, I never really worry about, we haven't played well at times, but it's nice that we're winning the games. There's no question. But our competition hasn't been quite as strong as maybe we thought it would be. We thought Washington State on the road was going to be a more difficult game. Grand Canyon, who won 30 games last year, thought that might be a little tougher here at home. But we've beaten the teams we're supposed to, and I think we're playing relatively well. I think that's why the net is showing that we're doing pretty well. The numbers are good, the efficiency numbers. But 9-0 is better than 8-1, Eric. Better than 7-2. At some point we're going to lose. I doubt we're going to go 30 whatever and 0, but that's what we're hoping for. But we just want to go 1-0 this next game. That's all.
The Beavers average 5 blocks a game. How are you sort of looking to disrupt their defense?
Who's averaging 5 blocks?
The Beavers.
Yeah, that's low for them. They typically, but they're huge inside, and they just do a great job of position defense. And like I said, I think Scott's one of the best coaches out there. His teams play very, they're very well coached. You can tell. And that's, you get around that rim and you're going to see 6'7", 6'8". They're going to be there for you. So we're going to have to execute real well.
We're talking about the international recruitment and a lot of players from different countries. I'm just curious, how many languages do you know, or is that forced you to learn more languages that, maybe a typical coach would have to learn?
I know how to curse in lots of different languages, but no, I know English, that comes and goes, and a little bit of Spanish, and that's about it. Yeah.
It's kind of a in the weeds question, but the rule change.
Okay, Krepia.
Yeah, a little bit. But I wanted to ask, the coaches challenge is new this year. Have you thought at all about the coaches challenge thing? I know you can there's a couple of things you can challenge and.
Yeah, we challenged one in the tournament. And I only did it just to challenge something, just to see how it worked. Yeah. I trusted my players, said, no, it was off them, and it wasn't, clearly. But I don't know. I don't think it's really going to impact our game much. Maybe late in the game we can do the inbounds. We can't challenge foul calls, those kind of things. But, so far we haven't had to use it. We've really only played the one close game. It could have gone either way, so I haven't been in a position to need this to change.
Right? Is there someone with an iPad?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good question. Yeah, Lisa O'Meara on our staff. She sits right next to me at every game and has the iPad, so she's replaying it. But unfortunately, we don't get the same number of angles that there might be in a TV game or a men's game. Right? They have more cameras around, so sometimes you can't tell. So you have to kind of trust your players, and I'll rethink that next time. But we actually joked as a staff, well, let's try it. Let's just see how this is going to work. Yeah. And I think in all of our games, I think there's only been one challenge by an opponent. So maybe our officials get everything right. Put that on the record, please. I feel like our officials get everything right.
Kelly Graves, Oregon women's basketball head coach. A lot of great stuff as Oregon looks to stay undefeated tonight against Oregon State. 6 o'clock tip, 5:30 pregame with Chris and Bev across the Oregon Sports Network this evening. Timeout, come back, wrap things up after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Man, I love my kids so much. I once sat for 3 hours in the cold rain to watch her soccer team lose by 18 goals.
I love my kids so much, I once used a tube to suck snot out of her stuffed nose at 3 a.m.
You win.
Love your kids? Love them enough to make sure they're in the right car seat. From toddlers to tweens, visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to find the right seat for their age and size. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Even saw some discussion today in the comments about best season in Oregon women's basketball history. Well, the truth is that I think the record for wins in a season would have been broken was it not for the pandemic. I think that team would have broken the record that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the previous team set that went to the Final Four. Oh, man. This team this year, so fun to watch. It's cool to see all the smiles on faces around the team, the Oregon women's basketball team, and I think it starts to have that feel again of that freedom that Kelly Graves coaches his teams with. Oregon women's basketball in action tonight, 6 o'clock at Matthew Knight Arena. Last night at Matthew Knight Arena didn't go Oregon men's basketball's way. The Ducks are now sitting at 0-1 in Big Ten play and 4-4 overall. Got to get healthier. Got to get healthier at the wing position. Pryor and Lindsay both played through injury last night. Nate Biddle didn't go for the Ducks. Matchup at UCLA coming up on Saturday. Men's basketball trying to get healthy. Now, tomorrow, we'll continue the signing day conversation. How about that? See you then.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly.
You got it, Joey Mac.
Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out.